Welcome to this explainer. We're tracking a massive, game-changing shift today. Based on some fascinating data from Counterpoint Research, the global drone industry is about to absolutely explode into a massive ecosystem, and it's being fueled by physical AI, edge computing, and full autonomy. We're talking about an industry that's going to touch everything from the food on your table to the delivery of your packages, scaling up to an astonishing valuation by the year 2035. Okay, let's dive right into this and lay out our roadmap. First up, we'll look at this $128 billion opportunity. Then, we'll go beyond hardware to explore AI services. Third, we'll map out the global drone race. And finally, we'll look at navigating the industry hurdles. All right, Section 1, a $128 billion opportunity. Let's look at the macro numbers behind the drone boom. $128 billion. I mean, that is just a jaw-dropping number, right? By 2035, global drone revenue is projected to hit this massive figure. Now, you might be wondering where all this money is actually coming from. Well, it's a combination of two distinct revenue streams projected by Counterpoint Research. You've got a $77 billion hardware market driven by a 14% compound annual growth rate, and that's coupled with an additional $51 billion stemming entirely from services. We're literally watching the birth of what experts are calling the low-altitude economy.
And this data brilliantly illustrates where that growth is happening. Just look at the physical volume. We're surging from 8 million annual drone shipments projected for the end of 2025 to more than double that, over 19 million units by 2035. Think about the sheer logistics of that for a second. That is 19 million brand new, highly intelligent machines entering the global airspace in a single year, completely transforming how industries operate both on the ground and up in the air.
We're witnessing a total paradigm shift here. The old market, well, it was mostly defined by hobbyists. It was all about photography, videography, lifestyle devices. It was cool, sure, but it was kind of limited. The new market, though, is all about solving massive commercial problems. We're talking mapping, traffic management, heavy infrastructure inspection, agricultural spraying, and last-mile delivery. The drone is no longer just a flying camera. It's a flying computer acting as a critical node for physical AI and edge computing.
Soman Mandal, a principal analyst over at Counterpoint Research, grounds this shift perfectly. He notes that while consumer drones transformed photography, the expanding range of applications across agriculture, logistics, industrial operations is unlocking the true potential of physical AI powered by edge computing, advanced sensors, seamless connectivity, computer vision, and increasingly autonomous operations. So this isn't just about some guy with a remote control anymore. It's about machines making incredibly smart, autonomous decisions in real time. Moving right along to Section 2, Beyond Hardware, AI Services. This is the unseen base driving future value. Remember that huge total figure we talked about at the beginning? Well, here is the most crucial slice of that pie, $51 billion. That is the projected opportunity just for service revenue by 2035. As this industry matures, it expands massively beyond just the hardware into AI services. And why does this matter to us? Because whoever controls the data, the autonomous flight software, and the fleet management platforms will ultimately capture the lion's share of this industry's profit margins.
Mark Einstein, a research director, sums this up perfectly. He says, in the long term, the value proposition will shift from hardware to AI, software, autonomous services, and data-driven business models. He also points out something vital to understand here. This economic potential will intensify competition and, without a doubt, lead to massive market consolidation. Simply put, the companies that can't make the jump from just building drones to providing entire AI ecosystems, they're probably going to be bought out or just fade away entirely.
Let's move to and see how this ecosystem actually builds out, layer by layer. It starts right at the base with chipsets and advanced sensors. Then, layer 2, you absolutely need seamless connectivity to transmit all that data. Layer 3 is the AI software interpreting the data, stuff like computer vision and autonomous navigation. Layer 4 is the cloud platform aggregating the fleet data. And finally, the pinnacle of the whole shebang, drone as a service or DaaS. This means a construction company in the future won't even need to buy a drone. They'll just subscribe to a service that automatically scans their worksite every single morning. All right, Section 3, the global drone race. We're mapping the worldwide supply chain and adoption.
So if we look across the globe, different regions are utilizing drones to solve highly specific local problems. In China, Shenzhen is the undisputed drone capital, leveraging a really tightly integrated supply chain. In the US, the FAA is pushing regulations for beyond visual line of sight, or BVLOS operations, which unlocks massive commercial applications. Over in Europe, the focus is heavy on smart mobility and autonomous aerial services. Meanwhile, India is adopting agricultural drones to combat labor shortages and rising costs. The Middle East is baking drones directly into their futuristic smart city infrastructure, and Japan and South Korea are leaning on them to increase productivity amid aging workforces. The common denominator here: absolute necessity is driving rapid adoption everywhere.
And, of course, geopolitics plays a major role in shaping this global map. As noted in our source material, U.S. restrictions on new DJI drones are serving as a highly significant market driver right now. Regardless of the politics behind these policies, the market reality is that these restrictions are forcing countries to aggressively build out their own sovereign drone ecosystems. And that's actually accelerating domestic supply chains and strengthening local capabilities in both the commercial and defense sectors across the globe. Finally, Section 4, navigating industry hurdles. What stands in the way of scale? So, the crucial point here is understanding what could actually ground this low-altitude economy. First off, physics. Battery performance remains a massive hurdle. Edge AI processing drains power fast, and if we want longer flight hours and fully autonomous operations, battery tech absolutely must evolve. Second, as we just touched on, geopolitical tensions are fragmenting the global supply chain. Third, privacy concerns are huge. I mean, nobody wants an unauthorized camera hovering outside their bedroom window, right? And fourth, cybersecurity risks. An autonomous drone hacked mid-flight isn't just a data breach, it's a literal physical hazard falling from the sky. Which leaves us with this final, pretty provocative question to ponder. We've seen the data. We've seen the massive $128 billion trajectory. But will the physics of battery limits and the very real threats of cyber risks ground the low-altitude economy before it truly takes off? Or will the unstoppable momentum of physical AI and the sheer global demand for autonomous services propel it to scale? One thing is absolutely certain for sure. The skies are going to look very, very different over the next decade. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this structured look at the data gave you a whole new perspective on the drone revolution.